Alrighty, that did not go as planned. The only thing I can do is do what everyone does. I'm going to start the Dan Milner Filmmaking Academy here on YouTube and try to make some coin, people, so I can get a drone and go to Bali. So we're going to get to the top-down part. The footage of the top-down part is fine. The audio, not so great. It's a little rough. It's like a guy who spent 2 hours too long at the local tavern. It kind of looks and sounds like what he would the following morning. I don't yet have a microphone for the Fuji, so I was looking at Rode, I was looking at Ceremonic. I just need a shotgun directional mic on top so I don't have to attach Rode mics to me unless I'm a long way from the camera. I just don't have that yet. I will remedy at some point. But until then, you're gonna suffer with this iPhone beautiful cinematic thing that's happening here. But before we get started, this is a film about a journal that I made in Albania. I've been to Albania twice, once in 2019 pre-COVID. And Albania, when you mention it to Americans, you might as well be mentioning something in the outer solar system. Americans don't know anything about Albania. They don't know where it is. They don't know the history, nothing. I had people ask me why I wanted to go to Russia. I had people ask me if I was nervous about being so close to the war in Ukraine. I had one person ask where in South America Albania was. So I was intrigued to say the least. Albania has a history that is unlike any other country in the world. There's another country that has a little bit of similarity to it, but certainly for where Albania is located, there is no other country in that region that had a history even remotely close to Albania. So it's a fascinating place to study. It's a fascinating place to learn about. And I was incredibly intrigued to go. I went with the Lana Dorfman workshop 2019, 2022. We went back earlier this year. To me, going back to the same country again and again and again is really the only thing I like to do. I'm not one of these people that counts countries and says, I've been to 110 countries. I have friends who literally spent 4 hours in a bus to go to a neighboring country, cross over, get a stamp, get back on the bus 4 hours back to the town that we were in so that they could say that they had been to that country. That's not me. I would rather go to the same place again and again and again and again and tell stories. So Elena and I are scheduled to teach again in May of this coming year. And I can't wait because I can build on what I'm going to show you now. And again, the journal is not my primary project. The journal is its own separate thing. I used a Blurb 8x10 softcover notebooks and journals, which are located under their own tab on the Blurb website. So, and also when you open up the Blurb software, you're going to find them in their own little category inside. You'll know where to look. And there's 5 things I want to talk about before we get to the top down. And I think this is really important because I see a lot of people struggling with their journal making. There's nervousness. I think people assume this is something made for the public. It's not. The number one point is, for me personally, journaling is about writing. Have I mentioned my Uniball Jetstream? If I haven't, I've been remiss. I use a Uniball Jetstream. It's about writing. If you are gluing images in a book, you're making a photo album. I don't necessarily think that's a journal, but there's absolutely nothing wrong with making photo albums. In fact, I think it's one of the most important things photographers can do. We've gotten away from this in the digital age, but I don't know about you, going back through my family history, a lot of our family history is captured in photo albums. And I think photo albums are great, but they're very different from journaling. Writing is, to me, where the real business gets done. I think a lot of people are lazy and a lot of people are somewhat afraid of writing because they think they may not be great writers. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if you're Hemingway or you're the worst writer on the planet. It's just about getting things down in the written word. So most of my journals are not art projects. They're just about writing. Number 2, your journal is for you. It's not for us. If you are making a journal for public discussion or to show in public, you're not journaling, you are marketing. There's a huge difference. So many of the journals I see online are people who are marketing, they're not journaling. They're building things that they think will build them following, so they're catering to something they've already seen, that someone else has already done, which then to them says, oh, I'm gonna copy these other journalers and I'm gonna build a following. Your journal is not for us. It's not for public consumption. The only reason I'm showing you the Albania journal is to make a point about how I would utilize this after coming back from a trip like this. It's not something, I would never really show you what's in my daily journal because it's personal. That's the point. It's for you, not for us. Number 3, materials do not matter. I just told you I used a Blurb 810 notebook. It doesn't matter if you use that or you use a composition book from the drugstore or you use a Moleskine or you use a handmade journal. It doesn't matter. The pen Have I said anything about Uniball Jetstream? It doesn't matter that I use a Uniball Jetstream because you can use whatever you want. Do I like this? Yes. Does it make my journal better than yours? No, absolutely not. So materials, paper, inks, acrylics, writing, printers that you use to put stuff in, it does not matter. Number 4, be honest. For crap's sake, this is the one place in your life where you can be 100% honest. This is not about us. It's about you and what's going on in this melon up here. So be honest. If you are writing your journal for other people, you are not journaling, you are marketing. This is for you. Number 5, if you do this every day for 2 weeks, I think you will never give it up. I started as a child, but I really dove into journaling in 1993, and I have done it every day since. This book or a version of it goes with me every single place I go. Yesterday, I was in Albuquerque, hiking out in the desert to look at petroglyphs that had been vandalized. And I walked out there, and the second I left the car, I told myself, you are on assignment. You are writing a story about what's happening. And I was writing it not as a journalist, but as someone who, stream of consciousness in my head of combining things like this concept that the primitive Pueblo people left their mark on these stones, and less than a quarter mile away are the most poorly made, cheaply constructed track homes sitting next to 8-lane surface streets with curbs and no way to get across and no crosswalks for people. And I thought to myself, who is the primitive people here? I don't think we've progressed in any way, shape, or form. We're still trying to tell stories. That's the kind of thing. That's how I look at what I want to do in my journal. And if you do it for 2 weeks, I think you'll never give it up. And remember, there is no right and wrong with this. There's no right and wrong. And if anybody tells you there's a right and wrong way to journal, they are selling you something, and avoid them at all costs. So enjoy this. I carry every single bag of mine has a book of some sort in it, a journal in it, because man, I take notes and writing these things all day long. It's a blast. To me, this is one of the most foundational pieces of my entire creative life. Everything starts in these journals. So let's have a look at Albania, this book, and the spreads. Some of these spreads work and some are horrific. If you have any positive feeling towards me at all, you may not want to watch the rest of this film. But let's have a look. All right, people, I just learned that if you turn your microphone on, it has a much better chance of working than if you leave it off. I just did this entire film and my mic, something's going wrong with my microphones. And I have lights set up on the both right and left side, like amazing studio lights, and I think this legitimately looks better without the lights. It's crazy. I have no idea what's happening today. This is my Albania journal. I'm recording this for the second time. I just blew the sound on the first recording, and I hate myself. This is a Blurb softcover 8x10. There is nothing fancy here. The back, I did nothing because I'm lazy, but the front looks okay. This image was printed into the journal from Blurb. This was one of the images that I had printed on. This, number 1, is an Instax that I glued in and added later. The title, A Story No More, is up here. Let's get into it. MILNOR, what is this pseudo, I don't know, what is this, a video camera? Like a primitive video camera? Yes, it is, but also this big black area is made with chalkboard paint. I can draw all over it if I want to. Juvenile, maybe. I do a lot of writing in vertical form as opposed to landscape form. I just always have. There's not right or wrong about that. It's just something that I like to do. Scarlet letter, maybe, kind of like that. Again, some of these images, this image was printed in at Blurb. I created the journal with this. I created the notebook with these images printed in. This was printed in, this is printed in. None of the rest of it is. You've got some nice bleed through here as well, which I really like. I'm just doing a little editing exercise here with Fuji Instax. I just made a cell phone picture, made a thermal print, tacked it in. I think Albania is a really good mix of Italy, Greece, and Turkey. Left this image alone. It's a complex, hard to do anything over the top of it. I am getting some bleed through here and here. I do a lot of writing for me, for Blurb, for other people, other magazines, things like that. So I'm constantly just printing stuff out and gluing it in. I started doing this, which is this image is printed in, but then I've taken a pen and I've gone through the outlines here. And what I'm finding is this helps me with drawing. It just really gives me helps me with a sense of like dimension. And I really hope the audio is working on this. This is Fuji X-H2S in-camera audio for anyone who's wondering. And I have not touched the settings, so, because I'm a pro. That's my friend Michael, amazing painter, artist, writer, journaler, photographer. And again, just things pasted in here. This is a poem I wrote when I was up in Los Alamos. Another image with penmanship on top. Okay, let's talk about a spread that doesn't work. Let's talk about a spread that looks like a 3-year-old did it. And no offense to 3-year-olds, you're probably a little more sophisticated than I am. That started with this. It started innocently enough. It started with this blown Instax, which I really like. And then I thought, I'll take acrylic paint and I'll mimic the same pattern here, which clearly I failed. I love acrylic, I love green, this does not work at all. And then to remind myself what an idiot I am, I drew this face here looking back and I was like, this is me. This is the idiot. This idiot thought he could do this when he can't. Dumb, impossible, dumb, impossible, impossible, dumb. That's me. This spread is horrible, it's embarrassing, which is why I'm showing it to you. I like this spread. It's simple. I like the image, but it's complex. You've got some similar color patterns here on the stamp reflected in the image. And then I get a lot of postcards from people, and I just thought it'd be fun to add one in here. Again, a lot of Instax in here, and it doubled up Instax of a plane from beneath, red pen written in vertical. Basic stuff, folks. Another outline, hi Rudy, another outline here from Lake Schkoder. There's, look at this, 1 camera, 2 camera, 3 camera, just attacking this scene. Also doing a lot of like little figure drawings mixed in with the writing. Again, this is a notebook for me, people. It's not an art project. It's not nothing like that. I use it as my like daily, what the heck am I supposed to be doing? Drinking beer, making notes. This is a spread I like. This is Larry Fink, the photographer, looking at books at a contest that Blurb had like a decade ago. I made a cheap thermal print of this, put the paper in my typewriter, and I typed vertically through the paper, which I really like. A couple of Instax here. That's a horse wearing a gas mask, in case you've wondering. And again, just a lot of writing. Purple ink for whatever reason. Pretty simple, an image with writing on top. Another thermal print, image with writing, using a black pen so it stands out a little bit. Just a vertical page of copy. Terrible spread. If I ever catch anyone doing 4-up on a spread, I will come to your house and there will be consequences. Typed letter, probably to someone. Here's a list of stuff. I don't know what I'm doing there with that. I don't even remember. There's too much happening. Happy birthday to anyone whose birthday this is. Maybe this guy. I don't know. F you to everyone. F you. Fundamental understanding. One of the tenets of AG23. Lots of writing over an image, some tape up here at the top for some reason. That's me and my first bike, Schwinn Stingray, 1975, Northern Indiana. That's me now. These are bikes in Albania. I like this dark image with also dark penmanship that's barely legible on there. I like that. This is bizarre. This is a color study. This is random color, uniform color. Random color, uniform color. I can't tell the difference. Literally can't tell the difference looking at this. This spread just about killed me doing this spread. Now, you might be thinking out there, this is juvenile, you're an idiot. It's not. This is a spread about patience. You know how long it took to do this? It took forever. It was agonizing. And I did it anyway because I wanted to see the difference between uniform color and random color, and I still can't tell the difference. So, epic fail. Pretty simple but busy image. I didn't really do anything to the top of this one. Typewritten letter, red pen over this, trying to figure out what's happening with my second brain because my first one is clearly not working. I do a ton of writing. I don't remember what this is for, but more writing. This is starting to get good. I like this. Got some red pen. Pulled that color because of these cattle down here. There's a little bit of red tinge to them, and I thought that would look interesting. Colored inks, more writing. This is where it's getting really fun. This is a white gel pen with varying levels of pressure. No pressure, lots of pressure. Pressure, when you apply a lot of pressure, you're actually engraving into the image, and then you get some cool backside texture as well. And so I do like this spread. Random things, cats and dogs living together. I don't know what's next. Like this spread a lot. Again, white gel pen, pretty simple, an image with a writable area. And then that's about it. You got some text, you got a blank page, and that is my Albania journal. Yeah, how you like me now? Is that green failed spread with the acrylic and the Instax and the little silly picture of me, is that just tarnished everything that I've ever done? It's possible. That was a spread that physically was painful when I got done looking at it. But some of those other ones with the images printed in through the Blurb process with the pen over the top, both the black pen, dark green pen, choosing an ink color that sort of matches the palette of the image so that the images blend in, and then flipping that around and using the white gel pen to really have text pop and stand out from this. So again, some of those work, some of them don't. I would never typically show this book, but I thought it would be interesting for people to see. And I'm going to go back now and get back to my normal journal for a while. And I hope that was helpful and interesting.